Whilst everybody's focusing on Liverpool's attempt to build the Premier League Galacticos, Xabi Alonso's Real Madrid rebuild, and even Chelsea becoming world champions, one team is going under the radar. But they shouldn't be, because Napoli's summer transfer business will send shockwaves throughout Europe. Stellar signings, a tweak in tactics, bringing back Diego Maradona's retired shirt number are all causing a bit of a stir in Italy. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. So let's take a step back and look at what's really going on at Napoli and how they are attempting to own Serie A once again. Napoli just about won Serie A last season, with a win against Cagliari on the last day being enough to pip into the Scudetto title. But that's not where the problems truly lay, because they won the title in 22-23 by a massive 16-point margin. But their problem in recent years hasn't really been winning the title, it's been defending the title. Because in the season after winning the title by 16 points, they finished 10th. But what's going on at Napoli this summer is more than just trying to defend a title. But to understand this properly, we need to take a trip northbound to Milan. They were the team that won the Scudetto in that year Napoli struggled so much. They were also the team that pushed Napoli all the way last season. The Inter Milan side that got to the Champions League final, as well as almost winning Serie A on the last day, is almost unrecognisable now. Their genius of a manager, Simone Inzaghi, has left to go to Al Hilal in Saudi Arabia. The squad is getting older, and their new manager, Christian Chivu, before he joined Inter, he had only managed 13 Serie A games. Another unrecognisable team is Juventus. Juventus are a team that have won Serie A 36 times. No other Italian team even gets close to that amount of titles. They're in somewhat of a better position these days with quite a young and exciting squad. However, under Igor Tudor, they are still quite a margin off being a consistent title challenger. AC Milan are also in quite a sticky patch. They finished 8th in Serie A last season, which is quite a fall from grace considering their history in Italian football. But when others struggle, it's often an opportunity for others. And that's what brings us back to Napoli, because their plan isn't just to win Serie A, it's to make it utterly unwinnable for everybody else. And one player who specialised in making games feel unwinnable for opposition was Diego Maradona. A player so great for Napoli, he didn't really become a hero at Napoli, he became a god. The stadium is named after him, the city is plastered with Maradona murals, and they even retired the number 10 shirt in his honour. But that may be about to change. Napoli are absolutely going for it in the transfer window this summer, and they started off with a bang, bringing in a Premier League Hall of Famer, Kevin De Bruyne. Not only is he in the Hall of Fame for the Premier League, he will go down as one of the greatest midfielders in Premier League history. And despite being 34, he still has something to offer and only improves this Napoli team. Meanwhile, they finally brought in a Kvicha Kvaratskhelia replacement in Noah Lang, a player who at 26 has really blossomed in the last 12 months, scoring 14 goals and registering 12 assists last season for PSV. He's a player that can bring a bit of flair and a bit of individualism to that left-wing position at Napoli. And with Kevin De Bruyne often operating in the half spaces on the left-hand side, these two will likely form a great partnership together. But Napoli have pre-existing firepower up front already in Romelu Lukaku, a player who scored 14 goals and got a surprising amount of assists last season at Serie A, registering 10 assists in the league, a player who has actually formed quite a prolific relationship on international level with Kevin De Bruyne. And you'd think with that level of output that Napoli are quite content with him up front. But you'd be wrong, because this summer they've been linked with a variety of different strikers, the most recent being Lorenzo Luca, a player who scored 12 goals for Udinese last season in a team that are quite shy in front of goal. With more transfers still being touted, Napoli are clearly trying to do one thing this summer, and that is improving an already fantastic squad whilst other teams are scrambling about trying to regroup and rebuild. They're trying to create a dynasty, but there may be one minor tiny little detail holding them back. Antonio Conte is seen as quite a polarising figure in Italian football and pretty much everywhere else in Europe as well, to be fair. And the problem, if you can call it that, is that his second season in charge is often a bit sour by the end. And not only is it sour, it often involves quite a public breakup. After winning the Premier League title with Chelsea in 2017, he was sacked less than a year later after his team failed to gain Champions League qualification. He subsequently joined Inter Milan, where he guided his team to a Europa League final, as well as only falling 1 point short to eventual Serie A winners Juventus. And in the next season, Conte actually did guide them to this title win. So you may think that the second season problems weren't actually there in this instance. Well, you'd be wrong, because only 24 days later, Conte left Inter Milan after quite a public dispute with the club's board. He then went to Tottenham, and this is where the public fallouts truly became unavoidable with Conte in the second season. His press conference after the Southampton 3-3 draw will go down in history as one of the greatest head losses of all time. He criticised the players, he criticised the mentality of the players, he even criticised the club's owner, Daniel Levy. So with Napoli trying to build and establish a prolonged period of dominance at the top of Serie A, whilst others are trying to regroup, the question then becomes, can a volatile character like Antonio Conte be the person who sustains this prolonged period of success? Or are the highs too high and the lows too low? Let me know.